When you're a solitary practitioner, witchcraft can feel very daunting. How do you know if you're doing it right? How do you know if you're doing it at all? And especially when it comes to energy work, this can feel very overwhelming. If nobody's around to validate and affirm your skills, how do you actually know you're ready to begin spell work and ritual? So a few weeks ago, we talked about a practice to help do just this when it comes to working in a coven or group. Today, we're going to be doing this all by ourselves for the solo practitioners. Let's talk about how to sense and manipulate energy and prove to ourselves that we are doing it successfully. So there's a couple of techniques in this video. They are basically the same technique, but they're going to be working different energetic muscles. The first technique is going to be working our energy sensing abilities. The second technique is going to be working our energy manipulation and our energy sensing techniques. It's also going to touch on centering, on grounding, on visualization, and on intention setting. So that second technique is really beneficial to further working those energetic muscles. But to start with, let's just talk energy sensing. This is incredibly useful for performing spells and rituals because it allows us to sense the energy that's in objects, to sense the energy that we are using in a particular working, and allows us to tap into the energy of crystals, of plants, of elements, of other people for our magical practices. But it's really difficult to know whether you're imagining things or whether you aren't. So for this working, we're going to need an assortment of different tumblestones. They don't have to be tumblestones, they could be crystal chips, they could be jewellery that's got crystals in, they could be big raw pieces of crystals, but this working, as it's primarily focused at the beginner, I'm going to assume you have easier access to tumbled crystals. You can find these in gift stores, you can find them at museums, you can find them from independent businesses, small occult stores, whatever you have access to. Now, you can skip this first process if these are not something that you have access to, but if you do, it can be incredibly useful. You're going to want 3 or 4 different stones. So as an example, you might want an obsidian, you might want a rose quartz, you might want an amethyst, and you might want an agate of some variety. Or you might want a selenite thrown in there. You want them to be different enough that their energy is going to present differently. You may find you already have these in your collection, but if you don't, just start small, but make sure they are real stones, because that's going to be important. You don't even need to cleanse them for this purpose, because all we're going to be doing is trying to sense the differences between each of these stones. So what we're going to want to do to start with is to just hold them in our hands individually and see if you can pick up on anything automatically. Is there a particular vibration that you get from one stone that you don't get in another? This is going to immediately help us to know your skill level. If you can pick up the energy straight away and you can feel that one stone is vibrating faster than the other, one stone feels warmer than the other, or it feels different, it feels heavier to another stone, this means that you already have a decent level of energy sensing just innately. Some people naturally do. Some people don't, and that's something that we're going to have to practice. If you do, fantastic, you can move straight on to the next step. If you don't, at this point, it's a great idea to go back to some centering techniques. I have a video on my channel, I'll leave it linked up here, to help you focus your energy in, and then we're going to want to be pushing it out. You're going to want to push it out so it's touching the energy around you and then pulling it back in again. And this allows us to manually energy sense. So if you're holding a crystal in your hand, you push your energy to the crystal and then you bring it back in again. And it allows you to touch that energy, to taste that energy so that you've got an idea of what it feels like. Some people do this naturally, some people have to do this manually. It can take time, but you will get there in the end. Once you've got to the point where you can sense the different energy of these stones, you're going to want to be focusing on each individual one. So say you've got a rose quartz and an obsidian. Which one feels heavier? Is it the obsidian that feels heavier? If so, make a mental note of that. Does the rose quartz have a certain vibration to it? It feels funny and fuzzy and different. Make a mental note of that. Do that with each of the tumblestones that you have. It might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 20, depending on how big your collection already is. You can start with just 2, you can start with 3, you don't need to have loads and loads of stones. You're then going to want to put them on a table and rest your hand above each of the crystals. Are you still sensing the same energy from each crystal? Is it softer now? Is it harder to sense that energy? The further away you go, does it become more difficult, or are you able to maintain that connection? Keep practicing this over time, lifting your hand further away from each of the stones to see how well and how consistently you can sense that energy. How far can you go before you break that connection? Once you've practiced this could take a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of weeks. It really depends on individuals' abilities. Then it's time to do this without looking at the stones. Take your collection of stones, put them on a table, close your eyes and randomize them. Literally wiggle them around so none of them are in the same spot. And then you're going to want to hold your hand out and you're going to want to hover over the stones and see what you pick up. Is that heavy energy still there? Can you feel it get fainter and stronger as you move your hand over the table? Can you pinpoint where the obsidian is among the other crystals? If you can, make a mental note of where that stone was and then have a feel elsewhere. Can you feel the fuzziness that maybe came from the rose quartz that you felt? Can you tell where it is? Can you pinpoint it? See if you can mark mentally, or you can move them to one side, which crystals are which. Open your eyes and see what you can see. The benefit of doing tumble stones, especially if they're all a similar size, is that you can't necessarily on feel tell which is which. Obviously, something like selenite is going to feel different than something like a citrine, but for the most part, polished stones all feel pretty similar unless you're getting the really unusual ones. It's not impossible to tell them apart, but it's harder to tell them apart than if you have them in their raw forms. See which ones you got right. Did you get obsidian straight away? In which case you might be more attuned with obsidian's energy than the other crystals in your collection. Maybe put that one to one side because you can already do that one fairly easily. Work on the others. If you add more crystals into your collection, you can include them in this. Make it more difficult over time as your collection builds, if you want to build it, and see if you can pick out moss agate from citrine. Can you find the blue lace agate from the tree agate? Can you pick citrine from amethyst? This is where it starts getting tricky, especially if you're using heat-treated amethyst in the form of citrine versus amethyst. They do have different energy, but it is a lot more subtle than real citrine versus amethyst. That's slightly less tricky. So you can build up the difficulty over time. Does green moss agate feel different to you than tree agate? You can make this as hard and as complicated as you want, but this practice mostly focuses on our energy sensing abilities. This is fantastic for working with spirits, communing with deities, communing with entities, working with servitors, so you can pick up on the energy when they're around, working with plant allies, crystals in spellwork and ritual. But the second technique really forces us to be good at manipulating energy. And for this, you're going to want pebbles. And I really do mean pebbles. You can go to a beach and just pick up 3 or 4 pebbles. You can return them to the beach afterwards if that's something that you would like to do. You may well find some in your back garden, just some small, equally sized pebbles that you can work with for this. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need quartz or anything like that. Literally just pebbles. Each of these pebbles is going to represent something different. So if you watch the last energy work video, you'll have heard me talk about hot and cold. That's what we can start with if you want to. You can have just 2 stones. One is going to be hot, one is going to be cold. Mark them underneath in a little marker so you know which is which. So maybe you use a red pen on the hot one and you use a blue pen on the cold one. Just a little dot underneath so that we can then remember which one is which. You're going to take each of these pebbles in turn and you are going to be centering, grounding, drawing up their energy, centering it into your body again, focusing on your intention. What is it that you would like your energy to do? You want it to express a feeling of heat. How does heat feel to you? What immediately triggers that feeling of heat? Is it the color red, the color orange? Is it a bonfire? Is it a campfire? Is it a candle? Is it a boiling pit of lava? Is it boiling water? What is it that visually, mentally, emotionally triggers that feeling of heat? Focus on that. It doesn't have to be a mental image. It can just be a thought. Direct that into your energy. So you're linking the two together. push it down your arms into that stone that you are holding. You're going to want to be pushing all of your energy into that stone. When you feel it is full of your energy, you cut it off and you put it on the table. And then you go and you might want to wash your hands. You might want to do some energy cleansing. If you really struggle with it, you might want to shake that energy off. You might want to ground the energy again to make sure you're clear of any of that hot energy. Same again. Center, ground, center again. What feels like cold to you? Is it the color white, blue, pale purple, grey? Is it the Arctic? Is it an image of a polar bear? Is it ice cubes? Is it a cold drink? What is it that represents cold to you? Focus on it, add it into your energy, direct it down your arms into the object, hold the stone in your hands, push all of that energy into that stone. When you feel like it's full, you cut it off, you put it on the table, you set them to one side. You spend a little bit of time away, 5 minutes, have a drink, have a snack, shake yourself off, reground again if you really need to get rid of any of that leftover cold energy. Come back to those stones. They're face down on the table. You can't see what colour dot is underneath them. You're going to want to mix them up. So you have no idea what is what and where is where and who is who. And then with your eyes closed, you're going to want to hover over a stone and see what it feels like. What are you picking up? It might be innate. It might take you a while to push your energy out, to sense that energy, whatever works for you. What does that stone feel like? Does it feel hot? Does it give you the images of red? Do you smell burning? What is it that you are picking up from that stone? Because that's also going to give you an indication of where your energy is going to lie when it comes to psychic work. If you get mental images, that's likely how you're going to experience spirits as well. If you just get this feeling of knowing, then that's likely how spirit communication is going to work for you. It really helps strengthen all of those muscles, not only with energy work, but also with psychic work. Once you've sort of got an idea of one of these stones, what does the other one feel like? Oh no, does the other one also feel hot too? In which case, this is where we need to be practicing our energy sensing. We need to be making sure that we're picking up not on the stone itself, but on the energy that has been overlaid on top of it. If, though, after even some practicing, they both feel hot, it may well be that you've aligned both of them with the same intention because you've gotten distracted whilst doing one with cold and you've actually just reattached the hot intention onto it. This is something a lot of people will do, and it's something that we can definitely get better at. These practices are just designed to show us where we're having difficulties and train our abilities just to get stronger over time. It's muscle. It's going to take a while to work and to practice. But if you've got the hot and you've got the cold, add some more in. Get a few more pebbles equally sized, mark the bottoms, maybe with the elemental alchemical symbol of the different elements. Each one is going to represent a different element. Take the earth, you center, you ground, you center your energy. What does earth represent for you? Is it tall green trees? Is it ivy? Is it a meadow? Is it a woodland? What does earth represent to you? Charge it with the energy, put it to one side, shake off, do some cleansing if you need to, return the energy to the earth if you need to. This is something you'll have to do less as you develop your skills because you'll be able to direct all of that energy in and then cut it off so all you've got left is clean, unintentioned energy. That's not a word, but I hope you know what I mean. What does air feel like? What does fire feel like? Does fire feel different to heat? Make it feel different to heat. If your heat is the burning sun, make your fire be an actual bonfire. See if you can distinguish the differences between them. What does water feel like to you? Once you've got all of these elements in place, mix them up again with the hot and cold. See if you can sense the differences. If you can start doing this effectively time and time again, it's going to make it so much easier when it comes to setting intentions because you know your ability to energy manipulate is fine. Your ability to energy sense is fine. And it allows you to then go into spellwork and ritual feeling comfortable and confident that you are capable of doing it. Without that nagging doubt in the back of your brain, I've been there, I've done that, of like, oh, I actually don't know what I'm doing. I shouldn't be doing this. What if it doesn't work? Oh my God, it's not going to work. Well, now it's probably not going to work because you're not focusing on what you're doing. This gives you the ability to have that little bit more confidence. And a little bit like all other forms of practice when it comes to witchcraft, You don't have to be perfect at it. Nobody is going to be perfect at this every single day of the week. If you're really busy, your mind is on other things, you have health concerns, you are worried about school or work, you're really busy, you've got something big planned that you're really excited about, your energy sensing is not going to be perfect every day of the week. Your energy manipulation isn't going to be perfect every day of the week. So I don't want anybody here to be aiming for perfection. We are aiming for confirmation. We're aiming for the ability to recognize that, yeah, not every day are we able to do it, but we can energy sense fairly efficiently. We're able to manipulate the energy fairly efficiently. And therefore we know that on days where we might be struggling, we just need to put a little bit more energy in. We might want to be working with a spirit or a deity. We might want to be calling on an elemental. We might want to be using more energy from other sources if we're struggling with that on that particular day. But even if we're struggling with it, we know we're capable of it. If, though, you are struggling with this, I would say go back to my videos on centering, grounding, energy sensing, energy manipulation to help build those muscles a little bit more before you dive into something like this. But this paired with the group practice can also be incredibly beneficial. So if you've already done the group practice, this is a way of taking it a step further because you can now add in different people's fire element, different people's earth element, and see if you can recognize the difference between the way that you feel fire and the way that somebody else feels fire. Because that way you're not only learning what the element feels like and what different energy feels like, but you're learning about what different people's energy feels like. Because the fire element to you may feel one way, but somebody else's energy when relating to the fire element might feel totally different. So you could take all of your fire element stones, put them together, mix them all up, and then see if you can individually determine your own energy from that group, but also see if you can figure out other people's energies, because that's also going to help determine in coven environments especially who is best being paired with who. Because in some workings, you're going to want there to be smaller groups in and amongst a bigger coven. And if you know that person A and person B, they don't really sense energy very well together, but you know that person A and person D really sense energy efficiently and they work together well, for the entire coven, it's better for those two people to be working together in active spell work and ritual, while A and B are practicing working together outside of spell work and ritual. So those are a couple of techniques that you can try if you are struggling to have that confidence and that affirmation in your abilities when it comes to this. There's no guarantee that these are going to be useful to anybody, but I hope that someone out there can get something out of this the way that I did. I found these to be incredibly useful, especially the group working for covens was incredibly beneficial to me. So let me know if you give these a try, if you get success with it, how it went for you. Did you tweak it? Did you alter it? Do you do something similar already? Let me know down in the comment section. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to give it a like. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down in the comment section. There is an entire beginner witchcraft series. I will link it up here if you do want to check out the rest of the videos, and if this is the first one of mine that you're seeing, feel free to subscribe if you would like more witchcraft education and content. I try to post every single week. And with that being said, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you have a marvelous magical day. I hope you have fantastic energy work success, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye!